So today we have the 2018 new Nissan Leaf 40 kilowatt edition in Techno trim. Okay, so here we are in the new 40 kilowatt Nissan Leaf. So the idea here really is just to try this vehicle out as I would of any everyday car, to see if this is the right electric vehicle for me. So it's currently got 76% charge in it, which is saying 116 miles. So it's going to be interesting to see how well that works. So this is a top spec model, so it's the Techno, so it's got the 360 cameras, Pro Drive. It's also got the additional parking assist. So basically let's just get ourselves going and see what it's like to drive. And let's get going.
Proceed to the highlighted route.
Oh, the brakes are good. So I know obviously if you drive like any vehicle, if you drive it at 50 miles an hour stuck behind a lorry.
Starting route guidance to your destination. Take the first exit. Then there is a roundabout. Take the first exit. Take the first exit.
I think we need to turn that off because it's going to get annoying pretty quick. Yes, I've cancelled it. It's pretty reasonably rapid off the line actually. Cool. So the first thing you notice of any electric vehicle is just how quiet it is in the cabin. It's just the engine noise. This feels really smooth. So I do quite like the dash layout. There are some harsh-ish kind of plastics in here, but there's also some leather or leatherette kind of look. I like the blue stitching around everything. That's pretty cool.
In 200 yards, speed camera.
Oh, I didn't know it did that. Okay. As you come to a standstill, you can hear the kind of with the battery kind of going quiet there. So this Techno model with this spec is around somewhere £32,000 on the road. Obviously in the UK, you've then on top of that got the £4,500 government grant. So one thing to keep in mind, I think Nissan in general display their prices without that grant included, so you can take that off, but some manufacturers do quote it already with the discount, so that's something you need to kind of keep in mind. I'm really impressed with just kind of how fluid this car is to drive. The one thing I think they could have done a slightly better job of is this is a futuristic car, right? And the dash has a good sized, you know, screen on there, and then you've got an analog speedometer. I think it would have been nice to have it all digital or something. It seems a bit odd that, you know, you've got the digital stuff going on and then this old analog thing on the side. Just not quite sure what or how that really makes sense. Minor things. So in general, everything there's this center console area that I kind of bashing my knee on. I think I'm used to obviously sportier cars, and this isn't a sporty car, right? So perhaps it's part of the design, but the seats so far feel actually pretty comfortable. I never drove the old Leaf because, to be honest, I just didn't like the look of it. Whereas I think this new Leaf does look a lot more modern. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, I'll kind of do an overlay video or an overlay snapshot. There is rumour of a Nismo version, and now for me that looks real smart, right? So you've got all the benefits of an electric vehicle, but you've got the fact that it looks smart as well. So I've contacted Nissan to find out when that's being released, but I haven't heard anything from them yet. And there's also rumour of a Leaf, I think it's called an E+, and that will be a 60 kilowatt battery. I guess talking about batteries and charging stuff, we're not going to go into the whole Rapidgate thing. I've got a separate video on that if you want to find out more information. So I spoke to Nissan about this car, and their kind of information to me was, with normal driving, so not driving in kind of super eco mode or anything, you should easily get 120 miles out of a charge, and if you drive super sensibly, then maybe 168 in kind of real world scenario. So I guess we'll see. Like I said, when I've picked this up, it's had 116 miles on it. I've given it some of the beans just to kind of see what it's like acceleration wise, because remember, like I said, this is to drive this car like I would drive it. So there's no point me driving it at 40 everywhere, because that's not what happens, right? So I'm on the motorway, I'm doing motorway speeds. Obviously, like any vehicle, this is all going to impact the range, but you know, this needs to be a real world test, as I can't decide if this is the kind of car that I'm going to want to spend my money on. And I guess for me personally, that's also, you know, coming from sportier cars, trying to get my head around what does that mean, or what does that feel like, right? So right now I drive a BMW 4 Series with an M Sport Plus package, so it's low, it's got firm suspension, it looks good, it sounds good, and it's pretty decent performance. And changes don't, like the Leaf is completely different in terms of style and everything, but this feels like a nice place to be. I mean, my wife has a Nissan Duke, and it feels very similar. I actually quite like driving that car. One of the things that I don't like about the Nissans is some of their switch gear. So this doesn't look too bad, but it's still got the switch gear for like the heated seats and stuff that my wife has in her Duke, and I hate that. I think it looks so tacky. I'm not quite sure what bin they got them from, but I mean, they're functional. And then the other thing on this car, you've got this horrible flap for the cigarette lighter, but yeah, not too sure about that. But yeah, it looks like you got some reasonable storage. So 2 cup holders in here. Centre, that looks a bit pointless, but like I say, we've got this car for 24 hours, so I'm not going to make any snap judgments right now. This is just like the first drive, but I mean, it feels really comfortable. I'm impressed. And I know it sounds stupid, but I say this for the benefit of people that haven't ever driven an electric car before. It feels like a normal car. Obviously, there's a little bit of motor whine, which is, I think, to be expected. But yeah, it's good. One thing that I'm never quite sure about, and I had a car previously that had this, like the piano black interior. It's just like a fingerprint magnet, but yeah, it's pretty good. So I guess some other things as I look around, it's a bit weird that this, I guess it's supposed to be the rear map reading light. Why is it right here? That just seems crazy. And they could have done a nicer job, I guess, with just the interior lighting £1,000 isn't cheap. You need to try and compare this to the other marques, right? So obviously the obvious, I guess, premium marque is Tesla, and obviously this is a fraction of the price of one of those, and also not the same performance either, right? So, but yeah, so far I think it's pretty good. It's doing decent on the motorway. It's cruising at 70, and see what other information we can get up on here. Okay, so we have an energy. Oh, it's got blind spots in the mirror itself. I can see that. That's cool. Right, so it currently says our estimated range is 107 miles. If we turn the climate control on, that would reduce us by about 4 miles. And so the motor, I think it's saying like 10 kilowatts or something right now. Let's see if I can overtake quickly. So overtaking is super effortless. So yeah, definitely fills you with confidence that if you want to overtake, that you're going to be able to. I think that's obviously one of the beauties of electric vehicle, right? You have that instant torque straight away when you want it. Yeah, it's good. So I will do like a very brief 0 to 60 test later. I can't remember exactly what the manufacturer's quoted is, but we will check that out. And I think also the top speed, I'll put a little caption there. I think it's like 85.9 or 89.5 or something. I don't know if that's accurate or not. It seems a bit low for a modern car, right? I think not that, again, legal speed limits aside, most cars do 100. And obviously they sell this car outside of the UK, so I'm just kind of wondering if that really is true or not. I also need to try out this e-pedal thing, so let's see if we can do that now. So I guess I just switch it on. Oh yeah, okay, that works. So the e-pedal is basically driving just with the one foot and using just the accelerator and braking as well. So when you come off, it will decelerate and also increase your regenerative braking. You don't really want to be having to need to put the brake pedal as well, because that's going to basically like give you an emergency stop situation. Let me just take my foot off the accelerator now. Oh wow, yeah, real harsh braking. So it definitely, you can tell it would work. Let's get off here and test out this e-brake at a junction. Yeah, this is easy and bring me to a stop. Actually, you need to really judge your stopping distances with this e-brake on. Okay, I'm having to brake up to the lights. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I might leave that on for the rest of this trip back. There's also in this model the heated seats in the back, and this has leather all round and a bit of kind of suede Alcantara stuff. But no, I'm impressed. I mean, so far obviously it's only been like 10 miles, but the seats feel comfortable, and in general it feels like a nice, it does feel like a nice place to be. So on the infotainment system, it's quite good that it is touchscreen, but you also have physical buttons as well, so you can press those and navigate your way around. That is awesome. Okay, and you can see what your closest charging station is, and that's pretty cool. I like it. I guess the other thing that I'm not quite used to, but isn't a bad thing, is there's quite a high seating position, so you do feel like you have a lot of visibility over where you're looking, which I guess for anyone is obviously a better position to move the steering wheel, it's very firm. So it's definitely, what that means is the cameras can obviously see the lines, and it's kind of keeping me where I need to be. So that's cool. So it's coming up to like a junction, so there's cars joining the motorway. I can see that it can see the vehicle in front. There's a little light on there that's coming on. Now we're going around a slight bend, and the ProPilot is driving me. It's taking control of the steering wheel and gently gliding me around the bend. And now as we come onto the straight, it's doing that as well. This is pretty awesome. Like, I've never driven or been in the Tesla using the autopilot thing, but this is good. Now we're currently coming up to the back of a lorry, and I realise I really should have got the other camera out so you could see front on for this section, but we'll do something similar a bit later. But it is actually slowing us down. So the speed limit that we had was set to 70, and we're coming up to this truck, and it struck me down now to, oh, it needs both hands on the wheel, not just one. Okay, it's now dropped me down to 60. So if I change this distance thing, drop it down to just one bar, let's see what happens. Okay, it is speeding us up slightly, so I'm going to try and move our way out. That's as soon as you indicate, it increases the power to enable you to change lanes, and then once you're in lane again, it's detecting the vehicles in front. It's detecting. I need to move out of the way again because the lorry came out. Okay, so I'm back into the overtaking lane now, and it's accelerating me straight up to 70. And one thing I did feel was it felt the lines and kind of pulled me over to the left, I mean to the right a little bit, which is a little bit disconcerting. But yeah, this is kind of cool. I can definitely see how this makes longer journeys easier. Yeah, I think the one thing that we just see, we're coming to the back of the lorry again now, so it should start to, it's starting to slow me down. 65, 64, and keeping me that safe distance from the vehicle in front. And actually what I am noticing is, with the one hand on the steering wheel, it's okay with that. If I take both hands off, and then obviously it's going to complain, and if I only put one hand back on, that's not set to me to put both hands back on to get this to work okay. Okay. This is smart. I like it. Okay, so there's options on the steering wheel. There's like a full pad control thing, and that enables us to access the information on this larger screen. So first thing I see is the tyre pressures. Then I go down to the drive computer. I can see what's going on there. So currently, I guess I can reset that for my own driving. This will tell you your average miles an hour and your average miles per kilowatt hour. Two drive computers. Currently it tells me it's in the cruise mode, and I can see what it's trying to do in terms of distance between the vehicles. That's quite cool. I thought there was, perhaps there's options when it's charging that I can see battery temperature and things. How do I find that out? Oh, okay. So pressing the right hand button, there's all different kind of ESP settings, driver assistance settings and everything, so I'll have a proper look in that later. Okay, we can bring up a big dash. Okay, we'll definitely have a little play with this a bit later. But this Pro Drive is really good. Okay, so right now I can see on the screen, so I'm currently doing 60 because of traffic on the motorway, and it's currently getting around 5 to 6 miles per kilowatt hour. Okay, the lorry's moved out of the way, so we should start to speed up. And we do. Fantastic. Still keeping me in lane. Nice. stop at the junction. That's pretty cool, because that's also going to help save you on brake pad and disc wear too, right? Okay, so I'm on a little A road now, 40 mile an hour, and the Pro Drive has detected the lines, and so yeah, it's doing it now on an A road. That's probably not recommended, because you want to be making sure you're concentrating more on the A roads and B roads. It's good to know that it can do that, right? That's kind of interesting. Oh, I'm going to hit these cones now. No, it's in it. That's good. And the handling isn't too bad actually. It's not really until you get onto the little A roads and roundabouts and the twisters that you can start to feel the handling. Because obviously it's quite a tall car, so it's never going to be kind of super amazing, but it's pretty good. Nothing definitely to be unhappy about. Okay, so just coming into a car park. I'm not sure if this auto parking feature only does parking in parallel parking, but let's see if it can help us find a parking space. So yeah, I think it's for parallel parking. So let's see if you can get us to parallel park somewhere. Here. Press. Oh, okay. So there's another button, so you can choose where you're trying to get it to park. Okay, so now I've asked it to park in this space. Press and hold auto park button to start manoeuvre. Okay, it's driving me forwards. Oh my god. No way. No. I think it's going to hit that car. I'm not doing that. I forgot it's got Apple CarPlay. I need to check that out too as well. Yeah, the acceleration is pretty good, and you don't feel that you're in a slow car. And actually the regen after some good acceleration isn't too harsh, so it actually feels pretty good.
You and I, we're always on the edge. We fight and make love at the same time. Would you break up just because I told you what I did last night? I recall the times you said you're sorry. I'm still not sure if you told lies, but I don't care, it's you like the first time. We don't need answers.
Okay, so the sound is actually pretty good. So like I say, it's a Bose setup in this car. And yeah, it's pretty decent. Okay, so I've driven about 100 miles in the Leaf so far today, and I'm really enjoying it. And I think the only thing that I'm not too keen on right now is definitely this center console thing. It kind of just, my knee always seems to be exactly where it is and kind of where it rests. It just kind of feels a little bit uncomfortable, but then you just kind of readjust. But the rest of things seem pretty good. There's plenty of room in the back, which I'm really impressed about. And obviously, like most cars, it's got the ISOFIX seats, but it's really easy to kind of get a kid's car seat in there that kind of goes in really in a straightforward fashion. There's plenty of room in the boot. So this Leaf has, I guess, the mat kit. So it's got the mats in the front and the back, and in the boot as well. Obviously, because this has the Bose, it's got that big kind of Bose multimedia unit thing, that subwoofer or whatever it is in the back there. So it takes up a bit of space. But apart from that, it's not too bad. And you've got obviously the Type 2 cables that come in these little bags that you can fit in the left and right hand side pouches, and then there's a couple of kind of hook areas for if you want to put stowage nets or whatever in there. One thing that probably isn't great if you have to transport bigger things a lot of the time is, even though the boot's pretty big, when you fold the seats down, there's a massive lip. So obviously you have got the split folding seats, and so that is handy. You know, there's a really big gap, so if you're trying to put flat things in, you are going to lose a fair amount of space. You need to pack it creatively. But yeah, this Tecna model really has all the bells and whistles on it. So one thing I noticed when using the E pedal, and I should mention, I found out where the eco button is. It's just down here on the right. And so when you turn that off, really the main difference that I can see is kind of the 0 to 30 speed and the throttle response increases. But kind of top end above 30-ish, all the way to the top, doesn't seem to do that much quicker. So the 0 to 30 is quicker, it's more responsive, and there's a massive more surge of torque, but it doesn't really seem to make that much difference to the top end. The other thing I noticed with the E pedal, which I'm really loving that, by the way, but I came up behind a car earlier and the car wasn't slowing down as fast as I guess it needed to, and a massive kind of alert sign came up on the dash, kind of warning me that I needed to brake. So that it's good that it's kind of keeping an eye out for you. The 360 camera stuff works really well. The only thing I've tried a couple of times and it didn't work really very well at all was the parking assist button. Now, it was good at identifying that there was a space. The one time, I'm pretty confident if I hadn't stopped it, it was going to hit the car to the side. But maybe, you know, I wasn't using it in optimal conditions, so I kind of pushed that off. And it wasn't a parallel park; it was kind of like a parking in between two cars in a standard parking space. It's probably not designed for that. So I did try a parallel park, and that wasn't too bad. I still think it was a bit messy, and if I hadn't stopped the car, it would have smacked into the curb. So I kind of stopped it, and then it kind of resumed and got itself together. But not sure right now. I might try it again before the car goes back in the morning, another assisted park. But right now, I wouldn't want to spend the extra money on that function right now. And that is an option on the Tecna, so everything else is standard. But yeah, the sat-nav seems to be pretty good. I really like the Apple CarPlay, so it's got, you know, the Apple CarPlay and the Android equivalent. I've only ever been in other cars where people are using that. I've never actually used it myself. It works really well. It's really kind of intuitive. The air conditioning, everything works pretty well. It's kind of, everything kind of seems pretty simple and basic. It's definitely not flashy, so they obviously, I guess, spare some design cost, but it's all functional. And I guess in this type of car, this kind of price bracket, saying my average since I reset things is around 4.5, I think it is. Let's see if I can get to the right menu. 4.7 miles. Yeah, 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour, which I don't think is too bad considering I'm driving it normally, so I'm not, you know, messing around trying to do an eco drive. And then a couple of 0 to 60 runs to try and see kind of how that works. And I'll put the stats up. It's something like around 8 seconds unofficially, and 0 to 30 was around 5 seconds or something. So I think, yeah, it's pretty nippy. And top end, you know, you can get to legal speed limit pretty quickly. And there's like a derelict road where I kind of tried some testing out as well. And this car, unless it was going downhill, I guess it wouldn't do 100. I think it kind of maxes out like 95 on the speedo, and it's probably obviously less from a GPS speed perspective, but it's good. I think it's one thing that maybe seems a little bit odd is, you know, the rear seats are heated, but it's basically the whole bench is heated. So it's not like one passenger can decide they want heated and the other ones don't. You're all having heating or you're not. So it's just a one switch, just on the side of the passenger seat there. But yeah, I think this is a good car for the money, and I just love all the toys it's got. I mean, I try and list everything, but it's pretty much got all the bells and whistles. I think really the only thing, and this isn't a ding on the Leaf, this is more of a personal thing, is trying to decide if the car styling suits me. So I've always had kind of performance / stylish type looking cars, and really even the Tesla, depends on your opinion, I think they look better. I mean, this definitely looks a lot better than the original Leaf. So it's more about style and presence. And I think I mentioned this morning, and actually Nissan have confirmed back to me they're not going to say anything about the 60 kilowatt E Plus Leaf or the Nismo version, whether it's happening or not, which is a bit disappointing, but that's what they say. But if they had that Nismo was available now, I would not hesitate to move to that Leaf, assuming it's a similar kind of price point, because I think it looks stylish. I think that's the one thing with electric vehicles, they all just seem that they are designed for an old man. And I don't mean that in a negative way, right? But it doesn't look, none of them look like they're trying to appeal to the younger market, right? And again, I'm not young, but you know, I'm not in my flat cap and slippers stage. Maybe not. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying it. And so really I'm just doing a little bit more driving, and then obviously I'll see what it's like at night. So it's got auto lights, auto wipers, all this sort of thing. I guess the one thing that people may or not be interested in, you can only adjust the height of the steering wheel. So you can move it up and down, you can't move it forwards and backwards. So depending on how long your legs or your arms are, depending on the seating position and everything, that may or may not be a problem. For me, you know, it seems fine. But I like the fact that the mirrors fold in and all that sort of thing. It's really good. And I do like that ProPilot. I did some more testing, and I'm not sure. I'm sure Nissan advise against this anyway. You definitely don't want to obviously use that on A or B roads, especially with, you know, sharpish bends, because it's not designed for that. It really is designed, you know, for motorway driving. But yeah, it's good. Nissan, I think you did a good job. So yeah, we'll drive around a little bit longer. It will get dark soon, and then I need to pop it onto charge for a little while, and yeah, see how that goes as well. But so far I'm really impressed with this little Leaf, and I think that based on my current kind of rough workings out, I think, and again I can't verify 75% battery, how many miles I've done, the type of driving style I've used, I think I'd get around 156 miles out of this if it was fully charged, I think. Now, I'm going to try and drive it around for a little bit longer to try and get it, you know, as close to 0 mileage as possible, so that calculation can become a little bit more accurate. But I think if that's true, I mean, that's pretty impressive. If you drive it slower, so if you knew you were on a longer run, then I think you can probably eke it out a bit more. So my furthest journey that I ever typically have to do on the odd occasion in the year is 150 miles. So I probably would still obviously want to charge once on the way down, but at least I know I wouldn't need to do a full charge, right? Like half a rapid charge or something would be more than adequate. So yeah, I'm liking what's going on with this EV experience. Okay, so I just got to 16 miles left and it's flashed up telling me that I am low and I should charge right now. So I'm not near a charging point right now. So I am now just gonna keep driving for a little longer and see how things go. So the battery's at 9% is what it's telling me. So 9%, now it's dropped to 14 mile range. So a couple of things I do know, that there is a reserve in these cars, so I'm not going to try and push my luck and go to 0 or anything. So I'm definitely within 14 miles of a charging point, so that's not a problem. Just interesting to see, you know, how far we get. So I've literally just, so it's literally just now, yeah, it's on the 100 miles mark. So I've just done, it's just over 100 miles that I've done. And so remember, I started on 75% and now down to 8%. So that's not bad. One of the things that I've noticed, this B mode, so you've got drive and you've got B. So B is more aggressive regen. So the eco is gives you more aggressive, and the B mode gives you even more aggressive regen. So you can have it just in B and no eco, or you can have it in B and eco for mega regenerative braking. So handy to know. And one of the screens that is quite good when you are running low on battery is the energy usage thing. So I can see, like right now I'm using around 10 kilowatts, and so when you slowing down, I'm generating more than that. So it's just helping eke out the range.
To see if you would call me. I miss you more when you seem too far away. And you can blame it all on me as long as we can find our way. Do you remember all the times we tried to stop this? Yeah, we end up the same every time. Cause when our heart is beat, there's nothing left to fight about. We're holy when we touch anyhow.
Late in the evening now. I've been and used a rapid charger, and everything seemed to go okay. I basically now charged up to 55%, which is saying I got about 88 miles, so more than enough to see me through what I'm going to do tomorrow morning in terms of school and everything. But just driving this at night, these LED lights are really good, give a really good kind of throw of the road, so you can clearly see what's going on. It's quite a nice kind of cockpit honest, I didn't know what to expect really, and I think it has exceeded my expectation. I had some concerns that it wasn't going to be really as good as kind of Nissan say in terms of range, but whilst I was charging I did some quick more accurate calculations, and I think with normal driving my style would be about 145 miles, so I'm confident that you could eke that out, you know, another 10-20 miles, maybe more, with proper eco driving. So yeah, 150 miles, that's a good amount of range, without having to stop. And obviously then you can pull over and charge. You're probably going to need a bathroom break before then anyway, right? So you can pull over, do some charging, and then be off on your way.
Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us keep on with the black guys. Give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us keep on with the black guys. Somewhere in between our secrets, there's an imminent storm. It's unavoidable, yeah. But as long as I feel that you see me, I will pay no mind at all. So give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us
End of a 24-hour test. So I'm just heading back to drop this off with Nissan. So I thought I'd share my kind of final thoughts of the last 24 hours. So I think I've experienced pretty much everything. Driving it during the day, driving it at night, driving it in the rain, doing a standard charge, doing a rapid charge. And this is a really good, capable car. I think if you are someone who's worried about electric vehicles, you don't really have to worry about range anxiety with this car, I don't think. It performs really well. The charging seems to work pretty seamless as well. I had a little bit of a problem with the charger mode, or however you pronounce it, the rapid charge, just getting that adapter to go in neatly and start the charge, but only took a few minutes to sort that out. So yeah, I'm really impressed, and yeah, it's good. So if I talk briefly about the things that I like, the things I don't like, and then just kind of a personal conclusion or summary. So I definitely think this looks so much better than the original Leaf. The design is, you know, a big improvement. Inside the cockpit, I quite like the raised seating position. I don't know if the seats are slightly different for the non-leather version, but these seats are really comfortable and really supportive. You can definitely feel in the lower back there's a good level of support there. Everything is pretty intuitive and easy to use. So the menu systems and everything available from the buttons on the steering wheel, as well as the infotainment system, the fact that it's touchscreen and you've got buttons you can use if you want to. I wouldn't say, I think it's more designed for simplicity and functionality as opposed to aesthetics. It's not, you know, super pleasing on the eye. It's not like mega ugly, it's just very basic and functional, which is not a bad thing, just less nice to look at. I do like the information console on the dash. I think they've done quite a good job of that. That looks relatively futuristic and fits in with kind of the thoughts around electric vehicle. And inside, again, there's nothing wrong with it. I like the fact you got the leather or leatherette style panels with the contrasting plastic and the blue stitching, and there's a good amount storage really. So you've got storage bins in the doors, front and back. The glove box is a good size. You've got this little bit of storage here, which I guess you can keep your phone in, or a can or something. But yeah, I really like it. I really like the fact, especially on this Tekla model, that it's got everything you need, right? It's got auto lights, auto windows, the Pro Pilot thing, heated front and rear seats. Yeah, it's just fantastic. The e-pedal, I'm just using that all the time now. It is fantastic. It's so quick and easy to get used to. And I really like the Pro Pilot too. On the motorway, using that, it's just kind of effortless. I think the only thing, not a bad thing, but I guess you can get lazy and perhaps you're not going to be paying attention, so you might have your hands on, but perhaps you're messing around doing something else, which could be a little bit of a risk, but not really a fault of the car. It's more down to the human. There's plenty of room in the back, so room for adults. It is a 3-seater, but really you know, be a bit of a squish, but you know, 2 adults in the back for a long journey would be no problem. And the boot is a great size. So yeah, I like the fact they've got the storage nets on either side, so that you can put the charging cables in there, so it doesn't take up too much actual boot space. Things I don't like, so it is an option for this auto parking thing. No matter how many times I tried that, it just didn't work very well. So I wouldn't personally spec that up. The only good bit about it is it can help you identify that you should, you know, if you can park, that your car should fit in a space. That's kind of handy, but I wouldn't pay the £1,500 or whatever it is for that option. I don't like some of the plasticky flap for the 12-volt battery thing. It's just a funny, finicky thing. It's not super important. I just feel that they could have done a bit better job with some of the switch gear. And this is supposed to be a futuristic car, right? In my head, electric vehicle. So perhaps they could have done a bit more with that. The heated rear seats in the back, I think it's a great idea, but I'm not too sure about having that switch in the seat. I don't. Perhaps it should have gone like on the back of this centerpiece or something. It's just another thing that just seems a bit odd, having it just in the one seat as opposed to, you know, a split charge or something for the bench seat. But again, not the end of the world. And when you put the seats down in the back, that massive lip. So again, not a game-ending scenario. It's just, it's going to limit the stuff that you can put in there if you're, you know, going to IKEA or DIY store and what you want to put flat on there. But I think apart from that, it's pretty good. So the question is, would I buy one, or should you buy one? I think yes. If you are considering an electric vehicle, this is definitely a serious car to consider for the money. So like I said, I think they start around 25,000, so 20,000 after your government subsidy. And if you look at some of the competition, there aren't really many in this segment that's a family car that you could probably use for a holiday trip and all that sort of stuff, that has the technology and the capability that this car has. And I think the styling is much improved and the range is, you know, brilliant. So definitely something that you should consider. Am I going to get one? To be honest, I'm not sure yet. So I think I'm test driving a few electric cars to decide if any of those ones are the one for me. And I think really the only thing that is holding me back on this car is the styling. So I never would have considered the Generation 1 Leaf. This one I am considering, but I still wish it had, there was an option for, you know, the more sportier styling, and a body kit or something, just to make it more interesting to someone who's passionate about cars. Now, lots of people, and there's nothing wrong with this, a car is just a tin can that you transport you and your family around in, right? And if that's the way you think about things, then I would definitely consider this car, without question, sportier option. I know I've mentioned it a few times in this video, a Nismo body kit. If that was available today, then I reckon I would probably switch in my 4 Series for that, and I'd be happy and wouldn't be kind of second guessing myself. But right now, I think it's just the styling that's holding me back, and also I need to test drive these other cars because this is really my first full-size EV that I've driven, and I am impressed with it. But you know, maybe this is really good, but maybe the other ones are better. I don't know. So I will do a kind of conclusionary video after I finish test driving the various cars. So I've got the all-electric Ioniq and the BMW i3. I'm not going to bother with the Renault Zoe because it's just too small as a family car. I think the i3 is too small really as well, but you know, because I've got BMW already and I like the brand, I want to check that out. I was considering the e-Golf, but I don't think it's got the range that makes it a viable contender in this segment for me. But yeah, that's where I am. So I hope this video was helpful. I don't know really how well it came out. I'm not a motoring journalist. It's kind of more of a brain dump experience over the last 24 hours. Hopefully there's some good information in there. But I definitely think if you were on the fence about electric vehicles or wasn't too sure about the Leaf or whatever, I would definitely spend the time and have a test drive, because I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I'm thinking about it now, just because it's annoying me, it's still this centre console thing, this raised console, where I keep bashing and rubbing my knee on it, is a little bit annoying. But yeah, it's been a good experience. Thank you, Nissan. Thanks for watching this video. A thumbs up would be really appreciated. If you're interested in other geek type videos, please consider subscribing to Spectrum Geeks. Why not also follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And before you leave, why don't you check out one of these other videos that may be of interest. Thanks again for watching.